Not sure what the people that are putting together the Revised Common Lectionary was thinking, but they should have started this lesson at verse 1 instead of verse 10, because it explains what comes next. In the first part of that chapter, the Pharisees come down to confront Jesus. They want to know some answers. And the question they ask is, why do your disciples eat without washing their hands? And that is when Jesus tells them that this is not important. What is important is the law. And then he asks them, the law says, honor your father and your mother. And you say, well, it's okay if you go to the temple and you pay some money, and that's meant to take care of your parents at the temple, and therefore you don't have to think about them again. That is not how things are supposed to be. Things are supposed to be done for the will of God. And that kind of got me thinking. It got me thinking about the numerous, and I don't even know how many, Lents that I gave up chocolate because I wanted to lose weight. Or I gave up smoking because I thought it was good for my health. And you know what? On Easter Day, I was back with the chocolate or back with the cigarettes. But one Easter, I said to myself, I think I am going to go, one Lent, I said, I'm going to go to church every Sunday in Lent. And I'm going to try to be better. And you know what? I've been in church almost every Sunday since then. It isn't just what you're trying to do, it's how you're trying to do it. And that's why Jesus goes into saying it isn't what goes into your mouth that is defiling, it's what comes out. It's when you say stuff that has bad meanings to it, or it has you say good stuff, but it has bad meanings to it. And so he tells the people to be thinking about not what you're eating, but what you're saying and what you're throwing out into the world. From there, he goes to the region of Sidon and Tyre. And there he runs into a woman who wants Jesus to heal her daughter. Now, this woman has two strikes against her. One, she's not a Jew, she's a Canaanite. And two, she's a woman. And Jesus ignores her. He doesn't stop, as he sometimes does, just to heal. He just ignores her. And that drives his apostles crazy, and his disciples. They want him to stop her from hollering at him. And so they stop him and say, look, deal with her. And he says, no, I am here for the lost sheep of Israel. And she still is persistent. She has a daughter who is being had by a demon, possessed by a demon. And here is a child that's 1, a non-Jew, 2, a woman, 3, possessed by a demon, 3 strikes against her. But she is persistent. And she calls on Jesus, please, please, please do something for my daughter. And he says, I am here for the lost people of Israel. I am not going to throw my goodies to the dogs. That was a very evil thing, a very bad thing for Jesus to say, because the Jews tended to refer to the Gentiles, the Canaanites, as dogs. It was a real put down. But she's a tough-minded old girl, and she says, come back right back to him. And she says, the dogs get the crumbs from the children's table. And that stops him. Bishop N.T. Wright, in his commentary on that lesson, says, the future breaks into now. Jesus realizes that what he is doing is not just for today and for the Jews and the lost sheep of Israel, but it is for the future. It is for the world. And he heals her daughter and tells her how important her faith is. And therefore, he has given her the healing for her daughter. How important this faith is to Jesus. How important faith is to us. Joseph, when we left him last Sunday, had just been pulled out of the cistern and was put on a cart to go to be sold as a slave in Israel. A lot has happened in the last week. Joseph is now 30 years old. He is well known for being able to interpret dreams. He has interpreted a dream for the Pharaoh that saved the Pharaoh's life, and the Pharaoh is mighty happy with him. He has become very important in Egypt. But he's still Laban's nephew. He's still Jacob, the trickster's son, and he's still full of manipulation and things that are not very nice. And so when his brothers come, being sent by their father to buy grain in Egypt because of the famine, he sells them a bag of grain, but then has the money that they paid put into the bag, and causes the brothers to get very upset. Then he tells them he wants their youngest brother, Benjamin, to come. Benjamin is the other child born to Isaac's favorite wife, Rachel. And if they will do that, they will get more grain. Well, they go to their father, and their father says, no, I will not send Benjamin. Part of the reason is that Joseph has kept Simeon, and Simeon was thrown in jail, and all this shenanigans going on with Joseph, but he never tells his brothers that he is their brother. He's not a really nice person. But when they come back and he sees his brother Benjamin and he sees his other brothers, he is full of mercy for them. And he falls on them with tears and welcomes them. And then he tells them in his own way that he forgives them. That he has faith that God had a way of using what they did for the good of Israel. And so his faith in God is that God works around the bad things, around the things that happen for the good. Things happen for the good. Joseph has faith. Paul, writing toward the end of the 11th chapter of the book of Romans, has spent chapter 9, 10, and 11 moaning and groaning about the fact that the church, or the way as it is, it's not a Christianity yet, it's still a sect of Judaism, isn't growing. Where are the Jews? They have been told all this wonderful stuff. Why aren't they with us? We can empathize with Paul. We've all spent some time thinking about why aren't we full of people in the neighborhood? We've tried lots of different ways to invite them, to get them to come, but they don't come. What's the matter with them? We're friendly. We're welcoming. We're good people. What's the matter with them? And that is basically what Paul is up to. What's the matter with them? Why don't they come? Here we've offered them a Messiah. They should be very happy to come. But they don't. His answer is that God has made them disobedient. But I'm not sure I agree with Paul on that. I think God made them, gave them free will. And within their free will, they have chosen not to follow the way, not to accept Jesus as the Messiah. But like Joseph, Paul sees the good. This is the bad side. These Jews are not coming. This is the good side. The Gentiles are coming. Mary Hinkle Shore, on Working Preacher, quotes somebody that she cannot remember, so I cannot tell you where it came from, and that is, too few Jews, too many Gentiles, no end in sight. And I thought, this fits us just really well. Too few young people, too many old people, and no end in sight. But we have faith that God will work his magic and make this happen. We're a good people. We know that this can happen. But the question comes up often, what are you willing to let go of for growth? What are you willing to let go of to have growth in grace? My walking partner makes fun of white men's old music. Thinking of Haydn and Sibelius and all those good people that I really love. And she much prefers hymns like what we had for the sequence hymn, which I do too. I like, let us break bread together on our knees. But the question becomes, what are you willing to let go of in order for us to have growth? For Jesus, it was a woman's faith that he could take the smallest little crumb and heal her daughter. For Joseph, it was the sense that God works in mysterious ways and that God uses whatever is happening to make this go. For Paul, it is what is bad makes an opening for what is good. They all had faith in how God works, and I think that is what we're called to. We're called to have faith and be a risk taker, to do what is necessary to make this church be available for people coming behind us. So have faith. Be a risk taker and figure out what it is that we can do to make this a place that is open to everyone.